The National Electrical Code, specifically Section 408.36 D, addresses the use of a two-pole common trip circuit breaker for a single 120-volt circuit. The relevant section is titled Single-Pole Breakers and Two-Pole Common Trip Circuit Breakers. This section explicitly states that a single-pole circuit breaker or a two-pole common trip circuit breaker shall be permitted for use as a single overcurrent device protecting the ungrounded conductor of a two-wire circuit. This means that it is permissible to use a two-pole breaker for a single 120-volt circuit provided that the breaker is a common trip type. A common trip breaker is designed to trip both poles simultaneously, even if an overcurrent condition exists on only one pole. This ensures that both conductors of the circuit are disconnected, providing a higher level of safety. It's important to understand the difference between a standard two-pole breaker and a common trip two-pole breaker. A standard two-pole breaker is typically used for 240-volt circuits or for multi-wire branch circuits where each pole protects a separate 120-volt leg. In these applications, the two poles operate independently, although they are mechanically linked to trip simultaneously if an overcurrent occurs on either pole. However, in the case of a common trip breaker used for a single 120-volt circuit, the key characteristic is that a fault on one leg will cause both legs to trip. This is a crucial safety feature. When installing a two-pole common trip breaker for a 120-volt circuit, it is generally recommended to connect the 120-volt circuit to the terminals closest to a trip indicator on the breaker. This is because some breakers are designed to trip more reliably when the current flows through these specific terminals. However, it's always best to consult the manufacturer's specifications for the particular breaker being used to ensure proper installation and operation. While the NEC permits the use of a two-pole common trip breaker for a 120-volt circuit, it is essential to ensure that the breaker is properly sized for the circuit. The breaker's ampere rating should not exceed the ampacity of the circuit conductors. For example, if the circuit conductors are rated for 15 amps, then a 15-amp breaker should be used. Using a breaker with a higher ampere rating than the ampacity of the conductors can create a fire hazard, as the conductors may overheat and potentially ignite before the breaker trips. Furthermore, it's crucial to ensure that the circuit is properly grounded. Grounding provides a low impedance path for fault current to flow back to the source, which helps to trip the breaker quickly in the event of a ground fault. This is essential for protecting people from electrical shock and preventing damage to equipment. It is also necessary to consider the application and the specific requirements of the equipment being powered by the 120-volt circuit. In some cases, it may be preferable to use a single-pole breaker instead of a two-pole breaker, even if the two-pole breaker is permitted by the NEC. For example, if the equipment being powered is sensitive to voltage fluctuations, a single-pole breaker may be a better choice, as it will only disconnect the ungrounded conductor in the event of an overcurrent, while the grounded conductor remains connected. This can help to minimize voltage fluctuations and prevent damage to the equipment. In other cases, a two-pole breaker may be required by the equipment manufacturer or by other codes or standards. For example, some equipment may require a double-pole disconnect switch for safety reasons, in which case a two-pole breaker would be necessary. Always consult the equipment manufacturer's specifications and all applicable codes and standards before installing a circuit breaker. Here is an example of how to determine the correct breaker size. Firstly, determine the total load on the circuit in amps. This can be calculated by dividing the total wattage of all the devices connected to the circuit by the voltage, which is 120 volts in this case. For example, if the circuit is powering a 1200-watt heater, the load is 1200 watts divided by 120 volts, which equals 10 amps. Secondly, select a breaker with an ampere rating that is equal to or slightly higher than the total load on the circuit. However, the breaker's ampere rating should not exceed the ampacity of the circuit conductors. In the example above, a 15-amp breaker would be appropriate, as it is slightly higher than the 10-amp load, and the ampacity of 14 American wire gauge copper conductors, which is typically used for 15-amp circuits, is 15 amps. Thirdly, ensure that the breaker is properly labeled to indicate the circuit it protects. This is important for safety reasons, as it allows anyone working on the electrical system to quickly identify the correct breaker to disconnect. Breaker labeling is typically done using a circuit directory, which is a list of all the breakers in the electrical panel and the circuits they protect. The circuit directory should be located near the electrical panel and should be kept up to date. In addition to the NEC requirements, there may be other local codes or regulations that apply to the installation of circuit breakers. It is essential to check with the local electrical inspector to ensure that all applicable codes and regulations are being followed. The electrical inspector can also provide guidance on the proper installation and use of circuit breakers. When working with electrical systems, always take appropriate safety precautions. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves, and always disconnect the power to the circuit before working on it. If you are not comfortable working with electrical systems, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to do the work. Working with electricity can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and others from electrical shock and other hazards. Furthermore, ensure that the electrical panel is properly maintained. This includes keeping the panel clean and free of debris, and periodically inspecting the breakers to ensure that they are in good working order. Breakers can fail over time, and a failed breaker may not trip when it should, which can create a fire hazard. If you suspect that a breaker is faulty, it should be replaced immediately by a qualified electrician. Moreover, ensure that the electrical panel has adequate capacity for the current and future electrical loads. Overloading an electrical panel can create a fire hazard and can also damage the electrical system. If you are planning to add new circuits or equipment to the electrical system, it is important to have a qualified electrician assess the electrical panel to ensure that it has adequate capacity. If the panel does not have adequate capacity, it may need to be upgraded to a larger panel. Finally, remember that electrical codes and standards are constantly evolving. It is important to stay up to date on the latest changes to the NEC and other applicable codes and standards. This can be done by attending continuing education courses, reading industry publications, and consulting with qualified electricians and electrical inspectors. By staying informed about the latest changes to the electrical codes and standards, you can help to ensure that your electrical system is safe and compliant. Remember, safety is paramount when working with electricity. Always take the necessary precautions to protect yourself and others from electrical shock and other hazards. If you are not comfortable working with electrical systems, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to do the work. This information is for educational purposes only and should not be considered a substitute for professional advice. Always consult with a qualified electrician before making any changes to your electrical system. It's important to note that while the NEC allows for the use of a 2-pole common trip breaker on a 120-volt circuit, it doesn't mandate it in most residential applications. The choice often comes down to factors like the availability of breakers, specific equipment requirements, or personal preference. However, in certain commercial or industrial settings, using a 2-pole breaker might be a standard practice for enhanced safety or specific control requirements. From a practical standpoint, using a 2-pole breaker where a single pole would suffice might seem like overkill. It occupies more space in the panel and could be more expensive. Therefore, it's crucial to weigh the benefits against the costs and space considerations before making the decision. Consulting with a licensed electrician is always recommended to determine the best solution for a particular application. They can assess the specific needs of the circuit and provide guidance on the most appropriate type of breaker to use. Moreover, understanding the nuances of circuit breaker technology is crucial for electrical safety. Circuit breakers are designed to protect circuits from overcurrents, which can be caused by short circuits or overloads. When an overcurrent occurs, the breaker trips, interrupting the flow of electricity and preventing damage to the circuit and equipment. Different types of circuit breakers are available, each designed for specific applications. For example, some breakers are designed to be more sensitive to certain types of faults than others. It's important to choose the right type of breaker for the application to ensure adequate protection. In addition, circuit breakers have different interrupting ratings, which is the maximum amount of current that the breaker can safely interrupt. The interrupting rating of the breaker must be high enough to handle the potential fault current at the installation location. Using a breaker with an inadequate interrupting rating can create a fire hazard. Regular inspection and maintenance of circuit breakers are essential for ensuring their proper operation. Breakers should be visually inspected for signs of damage such as cracks or corrosion. They should also be tested periodically to ensure that they trip properly when an overcurrent occurs. Faulty breakers should be replaced immediately. Furthermore, it's crucial to keep the electrical panel clean and free of debris. Dust, dirt, and other contaminants can accumulate in the panel and interfere with the operation of the breakers. The panel should be cleaned regularly using a vacuum cleaner or a soft brush. Never use water or other liquids to clean the panel, as this can create a shock hazard. Electrical safety is a shared responsibility. Everyone who works with electricity should be trained in basic electrical safety principles and should follow safe work practices. By taking the necessary precautions, we can all help to prevent electrical accidents and injuries. In summary, while the NEC permits the use of a two-pole common trip breaker for a single 120-volt circuit, it is essential to consider the specific application and requirements before making a decision. Consulting with a qualified electrician is always recommended to ensure that the circuit is properly protected and that all applicable codes and regulations are followed. Remember to always prioritize safety when working with electrical systems. Now, let's delve a bit deeper into why someone might choose to use a two-pole breaker for a 120-volt circuit, despite it not being strictly necessary in many residential scenarios. One reason could be future-proofing. If there's a possibility that the circuit might be upgraded to a 240-volt circuit in the future, installing a two-pole breaker initially could save time and effort later on. This is especially relevant if the wiring is already capable of handling 240 volts. Another reason could be related to specific equipment requirements. Some appliances or devices might require a double-pole disconnect for safety or maintenance purposes, even if they only operate on 120 volts. In such cases, a two-pole breaker would be the logical choice. Furthermore, in certain industrial or commercial settings, there might be internal company policies or safety standards that mandate the use of two-pole breakers for all circuits, regardless of voltage. This is often done to standardize practices and minimize the risk of errors. Additionally, the availability of breakers can play a role. If a single-pole breaker of the required amperage is not readily available, a two-pole breaker might be used as a substitute, especially if it's a common trip type. It's also worth noting that some people simply prefer the added safety of a two-pole breaker, even if it's not strictly required. The peace of mind that comes from knowing that both legs of the circuit will be disconnected in the event of a fault can be a significant factor. However, it's crucial to ensure that the two-pole breaker is a common trip type, as this is essential for ensuring that both poles trip simultaneously in the event of an overcurrent on one leg. Using a standard two-pole breaker that is not a common trip type could actually be less safe than using a single-pole breaker, as it might not disconnect both legs of the circuit in the event of a fault. Therefore, it's essential to carefully consider the type of breaker being used and to ensure that it is appropriate for the application. Finally, remember that electrical codes and standards are constantly evolving. It's important to stay up to date on the latest changes to the NEC and other applicable codes and standards to ensure that your electrical system is safe and compliant. Consulting with a qualified electrician is always recommended to ensure that your electrical system is properly installed and maintained. This information is for educational purposes only and should not be considered a substitute for professional advice. Always consult with a qualified electrician before making any changes to your electrical system.